Ladies and gentlemen, there may be some content material in tonight's podcast that is inappropriate for some viewers. Just thought you should know.
And now, live from the Squared Circle Studios in Wausau, Wisconsin, it's the Squared Circle Podcast. And here are your hosts, Max Beattie, and the Squared Circle Podcast heavyweight champion, Spencer Hart.
God, I missed this song.
Oh, feels so good to hear this.
Welcome to the Squared Circle Podcast, episode 10 on Spreaker.com and iTunes. We have officially hit 10 episodes, my friend.
10. We are now the Ty Dillinger of podcasts.
We're the Ty Dillinger of podcasts.
We are the perfect 10.
We're just going to glance over Monday Night Raw and NXT here in just a little bit.
And I'm still saying we could skip Monday Night Raw, and you don't have to hurt me.
We can't. So
yeah, we can. We are grown adults. We are human beings, and this is America.
But before we get to that, I have a little surprise.
Okay.
Waiting for us via Facebook. His name is Jeffrey Carter. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing just fine. Just been waiting and finally on here.
Very good. Jeffrey is the producer and owner of Turnbuckle Productions.
Okay.
Over there on YouTube. Now, Jeffrey, for those of you or those people who are listening who don't know, what is Turnbuckle Productions?
Well, I looked all over YouTube, and there has not been a channel like it. The channel is basically to show what independent wrestling is about, and it's about wrestling. I mean, we got footage from Tennessee, we got some footage from Ohio, some from Kentucky, and we're working on expanding a little bit into the states outside of the Mid-South region. So we got a little bit of wrestling, we got a little bit of interviews, and some new content that'll be coming soon. We'll talk about that later.
Yes, and it's for what I understand, Jeffrey, Turnbuckle Productions is just a recent name. It used to be called the JRC Channel. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, now, why the name change?
Well, okay. So the channel's about independent professional wrestling. It's not about JRC. That's my initials. It's about the people that uses the turnbuckle. Now, for those that don't know what the turnbuckle is, it's basically in the corners of the ring, the square circle. You got you got the paddings, and the things that hold the padding, the metal is called the turnbuckle. It's about the people that use the turnbuckle. So I sat down and thought about it. I'm like, you know what? I'll just go ahead and just make it where it's about the people of pro wrestling. Turnbuckle Productions.
Yeah, that's really cool, Jeffrey. And now, what do you do at Turnbuckle Productions?
I'm on Turnbuckle Productions. We're basically going to do some cool stuff like.
I understand
new videos, some new content, a new channel.
Yeah, from what I understand, you have an announcement regarding some new programming, right?
I'm sorry, Facebook messed it up. Say it one more time.
Sure. From what I understand, Jeffrey, you have an announcement for some new programming. Is that correct?
Yep.
What do you got going on over there? What's the new content?
Okay, so basically, the new content that the channel will offer is first we're starting on it. I'm looking for a gamer right now, but we're going to start a channel where it's related to Turnbuckle Productions, but basically just focusing on the history of pro wrestling games and have a gamer come in every once in a while, me play every once in a while, and do some games, all that stuff, but only wrestling. So we can do NES games all the way up from Xbox One to the Wii and all that crazy stuff. And also on the new edition of the Shoot interview show, The Interview, I got some stars already lined up to be on it. Like former TNA WWE star Wolfie D, former TNA star Crazy Steve, and some more stars to be on there. And then also an announcement to tell you guys, including Max, who doesn't know, the Square Circle podcast will be the new official podcast of Turnbuckle Productions, starting January 1st, 2015.
Max is doing his little victory pose over here in the studio.
Woo! We have a YouTube channel.
Yes,
This is
we do.
bitchin'.
So yes, we are proud to say we are joining Turnbuckle Productions in January. It is just an honor that somebody finally took a look at us and said, "What the hell? We'll give these two idiots a shot."
Look,
And a little bit
that's
more information. First of all, the website will be set up around, well, the YouTube channel is already set up. You guys, Squirrel Circle will post some information about it later. And then the official website will be up in mid-January, and there'll be some new merchandise coming out in February where you can buy some Squirrel Circle podcast T-shirts, hats, or maybe Turnbuckle Productions merchandise, or the interview, or maybe some of independent wrestlers from around this area. You won't know what's going to be on sale unless you see the store in February.
That's awesome, Jeffrey. So I really appreciate you coming on the show today. We are joining up with Turnbuckle Productions starting January 2016 on YouTube. Jeffrey, thanks a lot for stopping by, man.
Okay, thanks for having me on here.
Take care, Jeffrey.
You too.
What do you think about that, my friend?
This is the fucking best thing.
Yeah, just to celebrate 10 weeks of us doing this. You know, it doesn't seem like a long time that we've been doing this, but...
And I right now, I'm seriously sticking with that Ty Dillinger perfect 10 thing right now. This is this is really cool.
So yeah, after that amazing announcement,
We had to talk about Raw
Let's bounce
because
to the
you
Monday
won't
Night
let
Raw.
us skip it because you hate me. You only did this to soften the blow.
yep. So we go into Monday Night Raw, which I'll give it a fair little bit. The first part was okay. After that,
Raw
boom.
sucked. We can move on to NXT now, right? We can't. Okay.
No, okay. So we start Monday Night Raw with the League of Nations fucking talking, and nobody cares.
And you know what? I think I figured out part of the problem. I really do. They've got these characters out there. You've got, like, the Bulgarian Brute. You've got Rusev out there. He's this angry, Bulgarian, like, kind of psychopath who's oddly romantic for some reason. You've got a British man who's obsessed with either hitting people with his elbows or delivering the worst possible news in the most over-the-top way possible. You have an Irishman who's trying really, really, really hard to have a Stone Cold Steve Austin catchphrase and a mohawk in 2015. And you've got a Mexican man who is trying to metaphorically, and I think maybe even literally, merge two separate countries together. And you only let one of them talk, and you give them the most generic, by the numbers, I screwed the babyface, I have the title, we're such terrible people, bullshit heel promo. Like, this promo, aside from the exact words used, has been cut in every single promotion since wrestling started having promos, like back in the 1910s. It's just, You could have teleported money into my living room, and this still would have been the most boring goddamn thing I've seen all week.
So the League of Nations standing in the ring, and then the Wyatt family appears.
Which I was confused, because it's like, wait, the League of Nations are heels. Like, they're not even doing that whole, they're part of the Authority, so they can, like, shift around. No, they're just heels. Okay. The Wyatt family comes out, and they're like, you claim to be the best, you've accomplished nothing, you guys are all assholes. And I'm like, are they turning them like tweener? Is this a face turn? Like, what about the Dudleys? And literally right as I start to say that, Dudleys come out. What's going on?
What's
I'm
happening here?
So confused. Team Extreme comes. I was like, what the fuck? What? And then are we gonna have every team just start coming out all of a sudden? Like the Usos come out, the Legion of Doom comes out. It's just what is happening on my television? And then have a match, and I really was loving it until the Wyatt family got eliminated, and then I stopped caring because that was it. For me, that is the final straw. WWE has officially dragged the Wyatt family out back and put a shotgun up to the back of their heads collectively. The gimmick is dead, and I don't care anymore. That is what I take away from the opening match and the opening segment. You have killed the Wyatt family, and part of me has died with them. Good day, sir.
I started laughing when we came back from break, and we're in a 16-man elimination match.
16?
Thank God it was a tag team match. Otherwise, we would have been there for fucking ever.
We were there forever. It's like, okay.
It was an hour, almost like 40 minutes that this match went on, didn't it?
It felt like it. It's just like, okay, so we're going to do this. We're going to do a match. Like, okay, we're going to do elimination-style tag team match. I'm like, okay, that's fine. With 16 people. And my mind was split. Like, part of my mind went, oh, so you're going to have 4 teams of 4. Someone gets eliminated, and the whole team gets eliminated. Well, I'm not a big fan of that unless it's in, like, traditional 2-on-2 or even, like, 3-on-3. But when you start getting 4 and 5 people on a team, do the elimination thing. You know, like Survivor Series. And then my other thought was, if they did this elimination style with 16 people, this match would take all goddamn night. So this is either
it would be the entirety of Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, this match is either going to go way too long, or it's just going to be like half the match it really could have been quality-wise, which I kind of feel it was. I think if you'd cut like one of the teams out or dropped them all down to 3, it would have felt less cluttered, and I think it would have really helped, especially with the whole, one person's eliminated, their team goes with them. That, and I don't even want the Wyatt family to win. Just have them be the last team that gets eliminated. Like, the winning team eliminates them to win. But no, they go out first, because, I mean, there was no one in this match with this, like, big legacy, like maybe, 9 championship reigns, multiple promotions that could take a loss and it not affect anything. Dudley Boys! But, I mean, I can't. Dudley Boys should have lost. I can't imagine. I can't.
Now, do you remember who won the match?
No, if I say I don't, will you...
Say it.
No.
Say it, because I'm going to show you, I'm going to show you why in a second why it matters if you say it.
Roman Reigns' team?
Yes. Now, apparently, people at the WWE.com don't really give a shit about it either. Look who they say won.
Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, the Usos, the Dudley, Tommy Dream. Hold on. Okay, for those of you listening, just let me read this out loud for you. WWE Raw results, December 7th, 2015. Reigns and Sheamus clash as WWE TLC approaches. Okay, so far we're all right. Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, the Usos, the Dudley Boys, Tommy Dreamer, and Rhino defeat the League of Nations and the Wyatt family.
Wasn't it a fatal 4-way
elimination style match? But no, you see, it was Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, the Usos, the Dudley Boys, and Tommy Dreamer and Rhino, and they beat collectively the League of Nations and the Wyatt. Also, just a thought here. I literally didn't think of this until seeing that. Wow, that headline just wow.
Yeah, apparently they don't care.
That is
over
like
there
a
anymore.
mainstream news media headline right there. But anyway, I just thought of this in NXT, and they talk about NXT a lot more. Like, not like every hour on there, but they talk about NXT a lot more in Raw, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
And they bring it up, and they acknowledge its continuity and all that.
It's who they want to be.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If they're going to acknowledge the continuity, they should probably stick to it because I'm pretty sure that Rhino's a heel. It's just, okay, so Rhino, you were literally a heel 5 minutes ago. We want you to join Team Extreme.
Okay.
Wait, so I'm joining the Hardys? No. It's not 2001, and no one cares about Matt Hardy because he's Matt Hardy. We're talking about a new Team Extreme. Who's on it? Well, the Dudleys. Okay. And Tommy Dreamer. That's not Extreme, then. Why? It's Tommy Dreamer, and he wrestles in goth sweatpants.
So, yeah, Roman Reigns and the family defeat the Team ECW.
Oh God, are they really calling them Roman
I've heard
Reigns
it.
and the family?
The League of Nations and the Wyatt family in a 16-man. Holy shit! What the hell was that main event? It was the opening match for Monday Night Raw.
See, if we're gonna call them like the family, I just want I want them to come out as a team and have their entrance music be the theme song from Family Matters from the 90s. That would just be the best.
Yes. So we'll just glass over a couple more matches. Intercontinental Champion Kevin Owens defeats Dolph Ziggler.
Now, was that a championship match for the
It was not.
Okay.
It was just a regular match. Okay. In an effort to completely annihilate the Divas Revolution again, Sasha Banks and Naomi defeat Brie Bella and Alicia Fox in a match that no one cared about.
Yeah.
Even the New Day came out and gave them unicorn horns, and nobody still cared.
No, hang on. I didn't care about the match, but I have watched all of the little, you know, backstage Fallout YouTube videos. I've seen all the stuff that happens like backstage with the New Day, and
right.
And this is like the first time they've ever like hard in canon on TV acknowledged it. And even though all it was the New Day pointlessly coming out and giving them fucking foam unicorn horns and them just, you know, like, yay! It was dumb, it was pointless, but a part of me was like really happy. It's like, hey, groups of people who are nice to each other, characters that are well, you know, rounded, people working together. It's almost like someone actually wrote this instead of just, you know, flinging shit at a page. I mean,
So,
pointless, but still.
After that, the Lucha Dragons defeat the New Day. Now, this next one I want to go into a little bit more in-depth with.
Okay.
Miz TV time. Yay. Where we have Charlotte and... Woo! The fucking prop of the WWE, apparently, now. Mr. two-time Hall of Famer Ric Flair are sitting in the ring with... He's sitting in the ring with Charlotte and Miz. And they just have a conversation. Apparently, Charlotte's turning heel now. I guess, because apparently Charlotte's fucking drowning in a dumpster fire.
I'm not happy with this decision. I mean, it's not even one of those, oh, I don't want to boo her things. Like, I really like her and I don't want to boo her. It's more of, I'm so tired of the old, well, they're not working as a babyface. Turn them heel. That'll give them personality. No. That doesn't automatically give you personality. And what I think would be better is if you would just, work directly with the wrestler to come up with a better fucking personality for their babyface character. Or just anything other than the shit we don't know what to do, turn her heel.
Yeah. So, after that, just apparently it looks like Miz is just cattle prod shocking Charlotte, trying to get her to break. And so she breaks, and then she says something about, oh, Paige could never defeat me, even though she's not here. Oh, and big shock, Paige was backstage, and she comes out.
And isn't Paige supposed to be a heel?
Yes.
So, heel versus heel?
I think we might see a double turn here.
Oh my god.
And that's not
Paige
confirmed
works,
or anything,
but again, Paige works great as a heel. Why turn her face? Charlotte, you haven't even given enough time to have her work out a face character, so let her be a face.
Yeah. So the thing that really upsets me about this part is Paige, she gets into the ring and Charlotte immediately gets out of the ring. And then she kind of like half-ass grabs Rick, turns him around and just wails him. I'm shocked that Rick's not dead.
Oh, he is.
How can
he hasn't noticed it yet.
Yeah. So she slaps Ric Flair, two-time Hall of Famer Ric Flair, and Rick turns around to Charlotte and just goes, "Get her."
Okay, I will freely admit that and him being slapped, I'm okay with. I'm okay with the getting slapped part because it's stuff. Shit like that is reminiscent of things like Randy Orton's legend killer character or any character who's like, I don't care about, your legend status. I don't care how good you were or even are. I'm better and I'm going to prove a point by going through you. It's fine. It can, there are ways to spin that to make a compelling babyface story. The problem isn't that she slapped him. The problem isn't that she's attacking a Hall of Famer. The problem is how they're doing it. Like you said, he's a prop. This could have been a legitimately, holy crap, she just slapped Ric fucking Flair, and then he just turns completely dead cold. Get her. Like, that could have been awesome. And instead it's, well, she kicked a broom, essentially, and then the broom's owner basically went, yeah, and then she got attacked for attacking a broom. That is what this boils down to. It's just, and again, if they do the double turn thing, I'm going to bitch on the internet and keep watching.
You'll bitch on here.
What? This goes on the internet?
This is true. And we'll be on YouTube soon.
I know, it's awesome. Anyway.
So a couple more matches to get to. Ryback and Rusev and a double countout. Nobody really cares about this.
I didn't even see that. I mean, it was around that time that I actually do watch, like, TV news.
Right.
Like, dear God, not like Fox or MSNBC or anything like that. Just like the local stuff. So I switched it over to the local news at that point. So I completely missed that. Was there anything good?
It was a double countout. It was just them slapping each other outside the ring until the referee went, ring the bell! And then it just... Yeah.
Okay, those of you who are listening to this, you can't see my face, but it's just like, if you can imagine a facial expression equating to a paragraph of bitchy dialogue, yeah.
So after that, we go to break, and I'm thinking we're going to come back, we'll have another match. And we did, but we came back like halfway through the match of Jack Swagger and Stardust. Apparently nobody in creative gives a shit about these two.
Well, I've been saying forever that bullshit where they'll start Raw off with a 20-minute promo, announce a match, have one person come out, and what they'll do is they'll either have one person come out and then cut to break, or they'll have them both come out, ring the bell, and they've done like the collar and elbow tie-up, cut to break. Have you ever noticed they do that for matches? Like, they'll do that at the beginning match. They do this bullshit here where, like you said, they demonstrate they don't care. They never do that during promos. What they are basically saying... They're saying it without saying it. What they're basically telling the audience is the parts where people are talking are the important parts. The parts where professional wrestlers are professionally wrestling, yeah, that's not important. It's the equivalent of in the Michael Bay Transformers movies where all of a sudden you've got this big action scene that's actually somehow forwarding the plot a little bit, and it's two Transformers fighting, and they cut to the human characters du jour. I mean, like I saw one of them where they literally had Optimus fighting some dude in the upper corner of the screen while humans are running around panicking. It's the equivalent of that, where the action is so castrated or so clustered that you don't, and so interrupted by shit that doesn't matter, you don't care.
Right. And so I guess the only thing that really came out of this match was at the end where Alberto Del Rio and Zeb Coulter come out and just kind of sit at the outside of the ring, and oh shit, yeah, thank you. And they get into Swagger and Alberto Del Rio get into a fight, and Jack and here we go again, third week in a row.
Alberto Alberto
Del Rio, thank you, that's better.
You're welcome.
They both grab a chair and start slapping each other with chairs, and they both swing at each other, and Jack must have hit harder or something. So Alberto Del Rio's kind of stunned. He turns around and trips over Zeb Coulter's scooter. And then
I actually missed the part of him tripping.
He gets really pissed at Zeb in the back.
I saw that part.
Yes. So here's praying to fucking God that this is the end of Max America.
Oh God. And it's just sort of like this is like I've been saying for weeks now that this shit has made no sense with like Jack Swagger being somehow a face and those two being heels and shit. But now it's like, okay, so it's not a double turn, but it's like, okay, so apparently like I guess Zeb Coulter's going to turn face now, which will probably mean, okay, so I was wrong about how we were doing Max America. Glad to see you can make giant life-altering decisions about your entire socio-political belief spectrum in the span of now, but whatever. And Del Rio's going to become a harder heel, I guess, and this will, I don't know what, put Zeb Coulter back with Jack Swagger, because that was captivating fucking television the first go around. And it's just, you know what would be great is if you had just seen the comedic babyface potential that existed in Max America and just decided, you know what, Del Rio? You're going to be a badass wrestler, but you're going to be our comedic babyface. Oh. Well,
okay.
I could do this. I can handle that. I can be your comedic, racism, bad babyface. I can do that. Awesome. Boom. You got Zeb Coulter with his giant mustache. I mean, this would have been just perfect. And the twisting of it. I mean, this would have been perfect. And instead, what do we get? America sucks. Mexico sucks. Max America. Woo! You know what? You used to be an honest racist. It's just
now there's just no line.
There are no lines anymore. I'm waiting for them to just have somebody say something horrifically like not even like, oh, this, I'm offended, this TV show is racist. No, not like Tumblr racism, like actual racist like crap on Raw, and for them to try to blow it off or spin it into a babyface thing.
Well, did you see the news story that came out, I think a couple days ago, what happened at SmackDown tapings this week?
No.
There were 2 kids, when Roman Reigns came out, they started screaming the N-word.
No.
And the fans that are sitting next to these kids are like screaming at the mom, "Hey, shut the kids up!"
They were not.
No, I'm not kidding.
They were screaming the N-word.
Yes, and the mom didn't do jack shit. So security comes and escorts them out of the building.
What the? Okay. I have some questions.
Sure, go ahead.
Oh, really, just kind of one. It's a question followed up with it's a question and a statement together. Why would you let your children in public? Like if I had kids, I wouldn't let my kids run around screaming any racial slur just around the house. Like if they did it while they were home alone, my child punishment senses would go off, and I'm like, someone's getting a grounding or an ass beating when I get home. But why would you let them shout this in public? If you know they're going to do this, why would you bring them? Why wouldn't you correct them when you have literally thousands of people saying, hey, that's bullshit? And finally, this is where the statement comes in. Could you not do that in public? Because, I mean, wrestling fans already have a bad reputation. We like the fake show. We're usually depicted as being, like hicks, rednecks. Could you really just not bring racist children or be racist in public ever and also be a wrestling fan? I mean, for crying out loud, when there is literally a promo that once aired on national television where Triple H used the phrase nappy head of hair, could we maybe not add more?
Here's a picture of the 2 kids. They don't look more than 10, maybe 11.
Okay, wait, is the guy with the glasses there, is that one of the kids?
Yeah, that's one of the kids.
He looks like he could be like 12 or 13, which means he has just entered if he's 13, he has just entered the 7 stupidest years of your life.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and the other one definitely looks like they're under 10. So,
yeah.
It's okay, just a little message to any wrestling fans who are, kids or teenagers that might listen to this.
Don't scream that word!
Well, okay, there's definitely that. Don't scream racial slur. I don't care if the word you're screaming is like honky or something. If it's something race related, just don't scream it in public. Secondly, if you want to troll people on the internet, that's fine. It's the internet. Everybody trolls everybody at some point, even if it's accidental. In reality, do you know what happens if you troll people? You either get kicked out of a show or you get the crap beaten out of you. Learn this lesson now. You do not troll people in reality. Do not scream racial epithets in reality. Just seriously. And to that mom, the fuck.
Yeah.
Not even anything else, just the fuck.
Take a hold of your fucking kids.
Seriously. Right? Lady, take a parenting class. Take a racial sensitivity course. And never go to a wrestling show again.
You can't show your face in fucking public again.
It's like she goes to a Raw show or like an NXT taping. Are you that lady that let her kids say the N-word at a show? No, that wasn't me. You look exactly like her. I get that a lot. I bet you do. Oh my god, that is simultaneously one of the best and worst things I've heard all day.
Yeah. So the final match of Monday Night Raw, which is just going to gloss over right away, Braun Strowman versus Tommy Dreamer. Winner.
That was just... He counters a DDT into a choke for the win.
He just
First off, how did that even work? Like, I was looking at it, and I'm still a little confused on the physics of it. Like, I think Braun Strowman had no clip on. And then he just chokes him out. And it's like, dude, I can't. Right now, I'm playing like Rise of the Tomb Raider because, dear God, the new Tomb Raider games are great. And I'm just thinking, you know, dude, I can't get a critical headshot or anything like that once every 3 hours of gameplay doing that. And he just, fuck you, Braun Strowman.
So the last part, the main event, I guess, is Sheamus confronting Roman Reigns with Roman's in the ring with another ladder, table, and chair, which no one really cares. And so my favorite part of this is when Sheamus refuses to get into the ring with Roman Reigns, and he
Hated
says,
that part.
This is from. I have a picture to show you from. We follow a Facebook group called the 434.
Like them, seriously.
Yes,
Great
go
group.
over and like the 434 right now. They are amazing.
Also like us.
Yes, that'd
And
be nice.
maybe also give us presents.
Yeah, and so the 434 makes this little picture that says, when Roman said, "I thought Irishmen had potatoes. It looks like you're just smuggling some tater tots." It's the greatest
Yeah.
line ever, and yet it was cringeworthy.
Well, like, it's the problem is, like, if you said that in a movie or a TV show and it wasn't meant to be like a legit insult, it was meant to be kind of like an immature little joke insult, that's fine. The problem is, even if they had played this as an immature little joke insult and that's all it was meant to be, wrestling and especially WWE have been making the "you've got small balls" joke and legit insult for so long, for so many feuds, that it has lost all meaning. And on top of that, that coupled with the shitty dialogue they gave Roman Reigns back in the day, suffer and succotash. That is what this was. This was as cheesy as that. You've got the history. You've got the history of ball. Like, you've got tiny balls in WWE. It's just, this did not work. And everything else about this segment, "I'm not getting in that ring, fella, until you throw that chair out." That was Scottish, and I don't give a fuck. You know what? I'm 50% Scottish, and like the other 50% might as well be Scottish, but screw it. They're the same country now. That's going to offend somebody on Tumblr, and I'm okay with it.
Sorry.
We're not sorry. I'm not anyway. But anyway, it's just like, okay, fine. Throws the chair out. No, the table. Gets the table out. It's just like halfway through it, it's just like, you know what, dude? You know what I would have done if I were this heel? Get rid of the chair. Gets rid of the chair. Get rid of the table. As he's bending over to get rid of the table, run into the ring. The table, yes. Fuck off. While he's kicking the table underneath the... Yeah, I said a word. And as he's sliding that under the bottom rope, I'd run in and kick the shit out of him because his back is turned.
That's what I thought Sheamus was going to do. I thought he was going to wait for Roman to disable the table. And
instead, he's the most polite heel I've ever seen. "I want you to get rid of that chair, table, and ladder."
He might as well have said please and thank you.
Yeah, seriously. On top of that, you know what? They could have fixed this. Yeah, can't even talk. I'm so angry. They could have fixed this whole segment with one thing. You take the part where he bitches about the chair, the part where he bitches about the table, and the part where he bitches about the ladder, and you put them into one thing, not have him, "Okay, I got rid of the chair. Well, now I want you to get..." Because that was the most boring, drawn out... I mean, it's even more boring and drawn out than this bitch fest I'm giving you all right now. It was just, dude, just condense it together, have him missile the ladder at Sheamus' face, Sheamus steps out of the way, gets pissy, adds like maybe one more thing, or he just insults him in some way, and Roman like turns his back for whatever reason, and Sheamus attempts to kick the shit out of him. Has it been done a million times? Yes. Would it have been far more entertaining and a lot better than what we got? Well, you could have punched me in the bladder, and that would have been more entertaining, and you could have knocked me unconscious with sleeping pills, and that would have been less boring.
Yeah. So then Sheamus and Roman get into Sheamus and Roman get into a slapping fight, and then
even the spear through the table at the end was just kind of felt half-assed, you know?
Yep. So did you see the ratings for Monday Night Raw this week?
Lay it on me, because
let's play Guess the Rating.
Okay.
Max,
what were they last week?
Last week they were at a 2.46, I believe.
I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say that it was still above 2, and I'm not even going to pull it was like a 2.0001. I think they were at I'm just going to kind of round it off, just go 2 point whatever. I think they were at least somewhere in the realm of 2.2.
Close.
2.3.
1.
Wasn't
just above a 2.
Wasn't Impact's like highest ever rating like a 1.8?
Yeah, so if that's the mark that you're putting on Monday Night Raw, the best show ever.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say this. A lot of people are like, because I've talked to people, from my personal YouTube channel and just people I know online. It's like, what I've heard you say, like, Impact was pretty good until like 2008, and I'm like, yeah, you're right, and that 1.8 something, I'm pretty sure that came at their highest peak of quality as well.
Well, and our friends, Zach and Joshua over at Pro Wrestling Off Topic watch Impact, and they're not even impressed.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like Impact hasn't, let's face it, Impact has not been good, in my personal opinion, since like 2008. Now, admittedly, from like 2004 to 2008, they were doing gangbusters. Like, I'm a huge fan of the so-called Ruthless Aggression era, which that's kind of like right in the middle of. But quality-wise, they were still beating WWE, in my opinion. I mean, don't get me wrong. Impact has always been that show where when they did it well, oh my God, stand up and give them an ovation. But when they fail, you kind of want to stop watching for a few months, even though it's just one thing. But it's the one thing you can always say, and this is kind of my whole opinion on Raw this week and the last 3 weeks. Impact might be one of the worst wrestling shows ever produced right now, but it's not boring.
Yeah,
Raw
Monday
is
Night Raw.
worse by virtue of being that boring. When something leaves no impact, when something leaves no emotional or cognitive impact on you, and it's supposed to be a piece of entertainment, is it like, oh, this is the worst movie ever? No, it's not. It's one of, in my opinion. Right now, I would argue that Raw is worse than they've ever been in like the New Generation era, the PG. Like, no, 2010 in terms of it being boring, that was worse. This is like the second worst they've ever been. I would rather watch Impact at its worst because at least I'm going to bitch while I'm watching it. Most of the time, yeah, I'll have that whole, oh, what the fuck are you doing reaction while I'm watching Raw. The rest of the time, last couple weeks, checking my phone, checking email. I'm going to technical school right now. I'm doing some school. I was doing homework. There was a point in my life when I remember it's like, wow, I really got to study for this. Raw's on. And then it's just, and then, my mom.
There goes your focus for 3 hours.
Yeah, going back in the day.
2
like
hours.
2 hours, yeah. It's sort of like, and we're not even talking Attitude Era, New Generation Era, Ruthless Aggression, early days of PG. It's like, well, I'm not studying now. And then it's like, back in high school and junior high, mom's asking me, why did you fail this test? Body slams.
Wrestling.
And now, my worst subject has always been math. I'm terrible at math. I would rather study fucking algebra than watch this episode of Raw ever again. This has been for me, maybe not the worst, but the most boring episode of Raw I've ever watched.
Yeah. So Monday Night Raw, complete and colossal failure, heading into WWE TLC.
And I don't care about TLC. Not one little bit. I cared more about tables, letters, chairs, and stairs.
Here. Now do you care?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Not even the title.
Not even the title do you care?
It's like, okay, well, I care about the title. And I very much want to be right and get the title back.
Not happening.
Well, yes, says you. But it's like, I care more about that. I care more about that title right now than I do about any title on Raw.
Fair point.
I mean, not more than like, NXT,
Yeah.
NXT women's title. I mean, that like you said, that's different, but still.
And speaking of NXT,
Thank you, sweet merciful God.
let's go into NXT real quick.
NXT was good.
Starts off with the return of Enzo and Cass in a new kind of, we're going to kick the shit out of anything that moves kind of. They're almost like, I don't know if they were actually quote-unquote heels before the whole 3 weeks off.
This is
now they kind of are like, because they didn't do the whole,
they didn't do their
my name is
their
Enzo
sing-along promo.
Amore. Yeah.
I don't know if I call it heels. A lot of times wrestling shows will do this with a baby face where they just go, no, I'm done. I've had all I'm going to take. I'm not going to take any more. I need to, and they either A, get so pissed that they don't give a shit what they're doing, or B, you need to be sent a message and realize that I'm not playing around anymore. That is definitely, it's really easy to have that just suddenly go heel. It's super easy. And honestly, maybe that's why they're doing it, like later on down the line. Like Enzo and Cass get the belts, they let the glory go to their head, and they use this as a springboard. Or they could just be that whole, you know what, we've never really encountered genuine opposition. No one's ever tried to hurt us, and you damn near broke my best friend's knee.
Yeah.
That would have ended our careers as a tag team, and that's what we are, tag team wrestlers. You're going to die. And it can go either way, and either way works, and the crowd is just into it and loving it, and it's just, this one segment has been better than anything mainstream WWE's put out in like a month.
Yeah. So Enzo and Cass defeat Corey Hollis and John Skylar easily.
Oh yeah.
Corey, strict jobbers match, but
I mean, yeah.
still,
it's your most popular tag team going up against enhancement talent. You know how it's going to end, but it's still fun.
Right. So after that, Asuka versus Deonna Purrazzo, winner by
knockout. Okay. This segment might be my new number one thing in wrestling right now, because it's like Asuka's wrestling and it's like, okay, this match is like, Asuka can't get 5 stars out of everyone, but whatever. Okay, this could still be fun. Emma's music hits and it's like, oh god, they're gonna do the Raw distraction finish, and I'm just all of a sudden like my head is gone between my knees and I'm just like, please make it stop, please, no. And then Asuka's just looking at him and I'm like, oh god, no. They're going to have her be an idiot. They're going to have her be an idiot. They're going to have her be stupid. And, oh, no, you played your music. This means I can be easily rolled up by a 4-year-old. No. Bitch tries. And then bitch gets put the fuck down.
Asuka fucking...
Spinning heel kick, no. It was the physical violence equivalent of not now, the adults are talking. And then she's just looking at him. And your winner by knockout, and you can tell there's this look on Emma's face. Like, I don't know if it was completely kayfabe.
I'm pretty sure Emma shit her pants.
I'm pretty sure that there was a little bit of legit non-kayfabe fuck in that look right there. Because there are other like 80% of it. Like, most of it was total kayfabe. She's a great actress. All 3 of these women are. And yes, I just called Dana Brooke a great actress. She's clearly come completely into her character. She's perfect for it.
Right.
But Jesus, that look on Emma's face, the look on Asuka's face, this isn't going to be a match. It's going to be a mauling, and I've never looked for that entire thing. The reversal of that tired old, I played my music, now you're completely vulnerable trope. The winner by knockout, which I don't think I can remember.
I've never heard that.
I've been watching WWE and wrestling in general for about almost 24 years now, and I cannot, off the top of my head right now, recall, at least in WWE. I've heard it in indies, your winner by knockout. In Japanese wrestling, it actually, I don't want to say it's common, but it happens. It's basically, they usually list it as a TKO, technical knockout.
Right.
So, but it was just sort of all of it. This episode of NXT could have done the opposite of what I said Raw could have done. Instead of teleporting money into my living room, it teleports cancer into my lungs. Still, boom, this segment, best NXT.
Yes. So after that, the Hype Bros defeat Blake and Murphy. I'm
not a fan.
I don't know. I'm kind of hopping on the hype train.
That's fine, dude. That's
I don't
fine.
know.
I like non-kayfabe, like legit agree with everything Corey Graves, kayfabe says about them. Is this kind of like, no, I really do kind of want these two to just go away. I mean, if you like them, that's cool. I can totally, and it's not one of those, I don't get why people, no, I get why people like them. They're fun. They really are. It's just, they hit almost every one of my annoying, I want to hit you with a bus buttons. So it's just kind of one of those, it doesn't matter. They could be throwing tiger suplexes and, like corkscrew moonsaults and shit. And I'd still be just sitting there shaking my head going, no.
Yeah. So after that, my girl, Bayley.
Bayley's everybody's girl. Everybody, if you don't love Bayley, you get hit. I'm just gonna put that as a warning. You come into the Squared Circle Studios and go like, I don't know if I like Bayley. Ow! You getting smacked in the mouth. It's not how we do things here. It's a dictatorship. It's a Bayley ship.
In the mouth. All right, so Bayley versus Peyton Royce, and of course Bayley wins because
champ.
Yeah, she's the champ. And then afterwards, Nia Jax and.
I don't know what you're talking about. Nothing. All that happened was the match ended, and then all of a sudden, the universe filled with the sound of booing hatred. Seriously, it's like Nia Jax comes out, boo. Eva Marie comes out, boo. Die in a car fire. It's like, wow. I'm like, don't get me wrong. deserve. And then I'm like, you know what, Nia Jax, let's give her a chance. She gets on the mic, basic, just like like saltine crackers and water promo. Okay, well maybe she puts some effort into it. She doesn't put effort into it.
Bailey, 2 weeks ago, you got lucky.
You do that way too well, man.
Thank you.
Also, this is just like, maybe this is just me. Am I the only one who thinks that her wrestling uniform looks like an evil, like, heel version of Captain America? Like, there have been, like, I've been reading Marvel comics way longer than I've been watching wrestling. I've been reading Marvel practically since I was a baby. And all I can think of every time I see her is like, are you, like, supposed to be an evil version of Liberty Bell, Captain America's alternate universe future daughter or something? Because you look like her, like you're the right height, you're kind of ish the same build, you're just broader. I mean, if we just threw a mask on you, it'd be like, what the fuck? Except she's got like these hilarious like early 90s comic book shoulder pads. It's the best. I don't know what to make of her anymore.
Let's move on.
Yeah.
Final match, Samoa Joe and Baron Corbin versus NXT champion Finn Balor and Apollo Crews.
Yeah, this was a good match.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, come on.
Unfortunately, we can't spend a lot of time on it because we got 2 prediction shows to get to today.
We do. Suffice to say, it was a good match.
Yeah. The ending
was a little... I'm a little cool on it. I'm not against it. I don't hate it.
I mean, that's what, the second week in a row now or third week in a row that Joe has put his Coquina clutch on Finn?
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. There's things I love about it, like when he goes unconscious and he's like twitching.
Yeah, he's like drooling.
Yeah, and it's like, oh shit. Like he sells this thing like he's being murdered. That's fine, but it's like, I've seen him get murdered 3 times now. Part of me is going, I've seen this already, and the other part of me is going, well, I guess Balor's retaining his belt.
I'm not so sure about that, and we'll get to it.
Oh yeah.
So,
speaking of
1
that,
to 10, NXT. Was it better than last week?
I forget, what did I give last week?
About a 7, maybe an 8. You said.
I think I did like this one a little bit more. I think let's use the. I know for all the people who play video games out there, this name is going to throw up that. But let's use the IGN rating scale. I'd probably give it like let's see, there we go. I think I'd probably do like 8 8.25, 8.25, something like that.
Okay. Yeah, I'll stick with my original thing about 8, 8.5.
Yeah.
It was there, in my opinion, there has not been an NXT that has been lower than a 6.
Oh God, yeah. And I'd say like on a going with that kind of 1 to 10 scale, 6 would be kind of like just slightly below average. You're starting to get to that whole
Monday Night Raw point.
I don't know. Your average Raw, I think, especially in 2015, was getting like a 5.5.
Yeah, that's true.
Like 6 is still like, okay, you're within spitting distance. You might want to pick it up a little bit, but like even a 5 out of 10 is still watchable.
Yeah. So we are going to take a quick break, come back, and we are going to make our predictions for NXT Takeover London and WWE TLC for the Squared Circle Podcast Heavyweight Championship. That's next.
I'll put you through a table, boy.
That's next on the Squared Circle.
Oh my God. Seriously, that is a sharp indicator of Raw's quality.
We're actually missing John Cena.
Okay. His music has always been kind of one of those, oh my God, moments for me. But like, it's not even because of him. It's because, dear God, I like lyrics in my music, and yeah. But it was just, damn, I got like a little nostalgic there. Like, I'll freely admit, he is one of those wrestlers that even if you hate him, you kind of miss him a little when he's gone.
Especially when Raw is producing this caliber of shit.
Oh, yeah. And on top of that, I mean, say whatever the hell you want about him. I mean, I will be one of those people that be like, yeah, up until like 2011, I would argue that John Cena was a very mediocre wrestler. He just had an excellent work rate because the dude was willing to bust his ass. 2011 forward, I don't know if he started practicing or if like some switch was flipped or maybe it was the summer of Punk and the shit he did with CM Punk. But last 4 years, dude really is one of the best in-ring performers on the planet.
Yeah. So welcome back to the Squared Circle podcast on Spreaker.com and iTunes. And you know what it's time for, my friend?
Predictions?
It's time for predictions! The following predictions are scheduled for tables, ladders, and chairs. And they are for the Squared Circle Podcast Heavyweight Championship. You're still not getting the title back.
Oh, it's coming back. It's coming. Oh, you're right. I'm not going to get it back. I'm going to bring it home.
You want some? Come get some. I shouldn't have said that because the last time you said that, I won the title.
Just bring it.
Okay, so the first match on the card is the only one that's not a... there's one of two that aren't a championship match.
Really?
First one we're going to gloss over because it's probably going to be the shittiest.
What is it?
Rusev and Lana versus Ryback.
I'm giving that one to Rusev, and it's not because I don't care. It's not because of any, smarky, ironic reasons. I just honestly think they'll put Rusev over. I don't necessarily really have much of a reason for it. Just something in my gut tells me Rusev's going to win.
I agree. I think Rusev, especially over the course of the last few months, has dug a very big shithole for himself. It's, with the whole thing with the kayfabe dying with Lana and when he hurt himself, and ever since he really lost to John Cena at WrestleMania 31, he really hasn't been on the winning streak, and I think he desperately needs the win in this one. Yeah. So I'll agree with you. I think it's going to be Rusev. Rusev on this one. Just
remember, you can just look at Rusev's post-WrestleMania 30... What was this? Last one was 32, right?
No, it's 31.
32. All you need to do, folks, is look at Rusev's post-WrestleMania 31 career. Losing to John Cena. Not even once.
Yeah.
It's like meth. Anyway.
Yeah.
I said, going for Rusev.
The next match is a elimination tables match. It is Team Wyatt versus Team ECW.
Now, might be a stupid question, but elimination... it's elimination tables match. Does that mean that the only way to get eliminated is getting put through a table?
That's a very good question.
Yeah, I'm a little confused.
And I wonder if at this point it is going to be... Oh, yeah, WWE kind of screwed us with this one.
Yeah.
I will say for the benefit of our podcast that it is going to be an elimination by being put through a table.
Okay. Part of me, deep down, despite everything I've said, really wants to say the Wyatts. But realistically speaking, honestly, just if you were to divorce all of their previous bullshit and just look at the last couple months and how they've been booked, I would probably say, yeah, the Wyatts are going to lose. I don't think it's going to be a clean sweep. I will go so far as to say that they'll probably axe Dreamer and Rhino. Those two will get eliminated, and then one of the brothers will actually be the one who gets the winning, elimination. But it's going to Team Extreme or ECW or Team Grandpas with Attitude, whatever you want to call them. They're going to pick up the win, but they will lose half their team.
This is going to be our first disagreement.
All right, let's hear it.
I think the Wyatt family. I will take the Wyatts in this situation.
Okay.
I think, especially because of the last few pay-per-views where the Wyatt family has not won shit, I think that the Wyatt family will finally be put over. Yes, it will be a close match. I think it will be Bray Wyatt versus... Bubba. I think it'll be Bray and Bubba.
Finishing
the last
this one
two
out?
people, yeah.
Okay.
At this point. And I think Bray will put Mr. 3D Bubba Ray Dudley, through a table.
Yeah. Well, I gotta say that I obviously we, like you said, we disagree there, but I think if they do it, Bray and Bubba being the ones that finish it out, I think that would be the best finish if they're gonna have the Wyatt family win.
Right. So the next match, in a fit of nostalgia, I think I blocked out. Divas champion Charlotte versus Paige.
Well, once again, we have a situation where what I want and what I think are going to happen are two different things. At this point, I've kind of crossed a line where it's whenever WWE starts doing something really stupid, I don't go, well, here's how they could fix it. I just jump ship from it because I know they're not going to fix it.
They roll with it.
Yeah, they're just going to roll with their dog shit. So what I really want is for Paige to win. I literally don't even care. Just put the belt on Paige. Keep Paige a heel somehow. Becky Lynch versus Paige. Becky Lynch wins it. It becomes the women's title, and everything is better forever because Becky Lynch. That's not what's going to happen. What I think will happen is Charlotte retains. This will probably be the closing moment for, to officialize her heel turn, and she'll probably cheat to win. Another disagreement here?
I feel like I'm starting to... This is going to be a good one.
Okay.
I really want to take Charlotte because I really don't want to see her drop the belt 2 months after she got it.
Understandable.
I think it's time to put the belt on Paige. We discussed this a couple weeks ago, especially after Survivor Series. Sorry, I said it.
So much talk.
I said it. I'm sorry.
The pay-per-view that must not be named.
Yeah. And we talked about it, that as the match went on, that Paige really should have won.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that
it's time.
I think it's time to put the belt back on Paige. Because Paige hasn't held the title since she won it from AJ, right?
I could have sworn she held it after that, but you might be right. But it's either way.
God, AJ Lee. Let's just take a moment to revel in missing AJ Lee.
Yeah, miss her a lot.
Please come back.
Yeah. No, I forget. Now let's say that Paige does pick the belt up. Is this going to be her third?
She'll be a 3-time. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Three-time Divas champion.
Okay. Yeah.
So
like I said,
maybe
I don't think
it's
that's
just me hating to wear that ring, but I feel like I'm going to be right on this.
All right.
Because you know how WWE does really stupid ideas sometimes. And I'm not saying that giving or putting the belt back on Paige is a stupid idea. I think it may be too early.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you could complete the heel turn by taking the belt away from Charlotte and then giving them a rematch at Royal Rumble.
Yeah, and hell, honestly, even through that, I mean, like this little heel turn they've been doing with Charlotte, Paige wins, right? Let's say in that scenario, Paige wins, they're going to have their rematch at the Rumble. What that could easily do is it's like sometimes, the baby face or even the heel loses and it just reinforces who they are and they just get more focused, more dedicated, more pissed off, more, I'm going to get you, I'm going to get my title back. If anything, she loses, that's a wake-up call, and they stop the heel turn and just slowly build her back to being a face, build her up a character, and you have this big blow-off match at the Rumble. But maybe you also have her lose because, she was so focused on changing that it kind of got her out of step. And then, maybe someone else, like, I don't know, a friend from Ireland could, step up and be the one. But they're not going to do that because, if I do say so myself, that's a really good fucking idea.
Right.
So,
you haven't seen it yet, but I took a glimpse at Adam and Adam's TLC predictions earlier this afternoon. And he said literally the exact same thing, is that as much as I think that's a really good idea and bold, WWE won't do it worth shit.
Well, to be completely honest, outside of your typical 16-year-olds or mid to late 20s attitude era obsessed, really super like fanboy fans, but most people's most people's fantasy bookings are usually much more intelligent, nuanced, subtle, in-depth, and exciting than anything mainstream WWE comes up with.
Even us, you've been watching wrestling far longer than I have.
Dude, half the shit I've heard you come up with is better than most of anything really that WWE's come up with lately.
Yeah, because it's not a matter of how much wrestling you've seen in your lifetime. It's a matter of telling a story.
Yeah, you have to know the limitations and the context. Like a story that you tell in a movie, you're going to have to make some changes if you want to tell that same story as a television. Yeah, or in the ring, or in a regular TV show, or in a comic book even, or a novel. Vice versa. It's why, whenever they take like a book and turn it into a movie, it's called an adaptation. You have to adapt and make changes. But again, it's just that, like you said, it's that simple matter of how does the story work? What does the audience expect? How can you play around with that? What makes sense? You could have only watched wrestling for 2 weeks, but as long as you get the formula a little bit, you're going to be 2-3 steps ahead of where WWE booking usually is.
Right. So, you've got Charlotte, I've got Paige. We're disagreeing on 2 of the 3 already.
So let's see how this plays out.
The next match, of course, these are in no particular order. The WWE Tag Team Champion ladder match, triple threat. Say that 5 times fast.
I like my tongue. So no.
Yeah. The champion New Day versus the Lucha Dragons and versus the Usos.
Okay. Once again, we have a situation of what I want versus what I think is going to happen. Now, here's the thing. Now, I want to clarify this. Just because the thing I want to happen is different from the thing that I think is going to happen does not mean that the thing I think is going to happen is bad. This is one of those situations where I honestly don't have a problem with how this match ends. The New Day could retain. The Dragons could win. The Usos could win. Whatever. I'm going to be fine with it. What I think should happen is I honestly think, even with all the crap and shade I've thrown at Sin Cara, I think it's time for the Lucha Dragons to pick it up. I think Kalisto's more than exciting enough to carry that. What I think is going to happen is I do honestly think the Usos are going to win. I think that if they do, this would be, their second world tag title reign? Second or
I want to
third?
say third.
I mean, you're the Uso fan.
I'm
so I
the
think-
Uso fan. I'm almost positive that they are currently a 2-time champion.
Okay, because honestly, it's like it's not staying in my head right now. But I do think that the Usos will win. Like I said, I would what I want is the Lucha Dragons to win. What I desperately want is for the New Day to retain with a decisive victory. Like no heel chicanery, no shenanigans, no BS, no countouts, whatever. They just win. That would be what I really want. That's not going to fucking happen. I would like it if the Lucha Dragons would win, but I do firmly believe that the Usos are going to take the belts.
And I will, as much as I don't want to,
You disagreeing with me again?
I'm agreeing with you.
Oh, okay.
I can't believe I'm going to say this.
Let's hear it.
I want the New Day to retain.
Have you joined the fold?
I joined the fold a few weeks ago.
This
But-
is the best.
Yeah.
This is the best
We're just
thing.
going to
I
edit that
win.
part out where it says, I think the New Day should retain because I'm on board with the New Day. The same thing happened with me before the podcast existed with me and Seth Rollins. When Seth Rollins broke off from the Shield, I despised everything about him, especially when he won Money in the Bank by Kane just
Giving it to him.
giving it to him pretty much. Yeah, gave it to Seth Rollins. Yeah. I just hated him. But after, I think the turning point was WrestleMania 31 for me.
His cash in?
His cash in. He did it in such a fashion that was just beautiful.
See,
And since then, he earned my respect. He
Oh, yeah.
really did.
You know what would have done it for me if I had been in your position? Wouldn't have been the cash in, but it would have been WrestleMania 31. It's going to sound really weird. What it would have been the ending to the finish to his match. I don't know.
His match with Randy Orton.
Yeah, the step up RKO thing. No, because I had the same reaction to that moment that Brandon Stroud of Uprocks and with Spandex did. That was the first time in years that anything in a match made me just stand up, eyes bulging out of my head, go, "Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Did that just happen?" Because it was just curb stomp, curb RKO. What?
Yeah, I can't speak.
I have lost the ability to English.
Yeah. So, like I said, I want the New Day to retain, but because of the push that the Usos have received since coming back from Jay's injury, the Usos will become champion.
Gotta agree with you on that one.
Yeah. So, like I said, as much as I want the New Day to retain, and I'm sure that down the road, the New Day, if they lose their championships, will not
Oh no.
dissolve. I think the New Day is the glimmer of hope in WWE creative programming. That
Oh yeah. Well, I think it speaks volumes of the creative writers' talents. That honestly, from everything I've heard and kind of what they said in their Table for Three video, the New Day have a crap load of control over what their characters say, do, and just who their characters are. Which means you can kind of, pin this. You can pin at least a good chunk of the success, or pin, a good chunk of the failures, so to crash and burn on the performers, which I think is a good thing. I think, it's wrestling. You should kind of sink or swim on your own, especially if you're doing this for as long as these three have. But they're as good as they are because essentially either they ditched creative or creative ditched them. Wow.
Yeah. So, the next match, Intercontinental title, Kevin Owens versus Dean.
Kevin Owens is retaining, and if he doesn't, I'm lighting WWE on fire. Sorry, continue.
I kind of want to change my prediction, though.
Really?
Yeah.
Come on, what is it right now without changing it?
Dean Ambrose. Here's my thought.
All right, let's hear it.
I think that, not to steal Adam Pacitti's prediction for this one,
Okay.
but I kind of have to agree with him. Adam Pacitti and Adam vs. Adam 6 on YouTube. What Culture Wrestling? Go follow them now. He said that it would be bold, but what might happen is WWE would put the titles on every single family member of Roman except Roman.
Oh.
It would be bold. And that would
That's not even just bold, that's brilliant.
that would initiate the perfect Roman Reigns heel turn.
Oh my god, that is
So
I never even thought of that.
Adam Pacitti, this prediction is for you. I am going with Dean Ambrose over Kevin Owens.
Okay, as much as I want that beautiful mental image to now become, thank you for telling me about that. That is all I can think of right now is imagine what would happen if you had the right wrestlers, like in real life who are friends and family or whatever,
Right.
or storyline, in Lucha Underground or NXT, and they decided, you know what, let's pull the trigger and go bold. That shit would be amazing.
Right.
Oh, God. Even the WWE version would be still at least watchable. God, I want this now. Damn you. But I'm going to stick with my guns. I'm going to stick with Owens retaining.
Okay. All right. So the final match that's on the card, WWE World Heavyweight Champion Sheamus versus Roman Reigns.
Okay, this is a situation where I have a prediction as to what I think is going to happen, and again, what I think versus what I want. Here's the thing. I'm going to throw my cards and my chips on the table. I'm going to go all in. I am going to put what I want as my prediction, and what I'm predicting, Roman gets his title. What I think should happen.
As much as I want to agree with you.
Like I said, it's a risk. It is a gamble because WWE is retarded. They're not going to do it, but I'm going to take the risk.
As much as I want that to happen, and God, I do.
At this point, he kind of deserves it.
He does, but they're apparently going to go with Sheamus. They've created a whole new gimmick for him.
It does feel that way.
Yeah. He's going to be champion
new
for a
gimmick.
little while. Yeah.
Created a T-shirt.
Sheamus 515. Oh, boy. Yeah, I just...
By the
as
way, I
much
got
as it-
curious. I went back and subjected myself to that pay-per-view again, and I counted. I timed it. I used the stopwatch on my phone.
Was it 515?
5:12.
Oh, you son of a bitches!
Well, other people have been saying everything from like 5:10 to 5:14. So, my count might be off, but no one is saying 5:15. And it's just, yeah, okay, maybe it was 5:14 or even 5:16. It's 1 second. It's still another instance of WWE going, no, we're doing it our way. But this is literally reality. Yeah, but we're doing it our way because, and it's just, okay. But yeah, I got 5:12. But I guess Sheamus 5:12 doesn't roll off. I'm not even going to fuck.
Yeah, so unfortunately, I'm going to pick Sheamus.
I understand. Like I said, I fully expect to be dead wrong. I am not putting what I think is going to happen out there as my prediction.
Well, it's because this pay-per-view is shaping up to be shit.
Oh, yeah. And like I said, at this point, you know what? Roman Reigns winning the title, for all the people that, and don't get me wrong, there are people who make very intelligent, reasonable, and there's a certain amount of, personal opinion. You can't really argue too much with that. But, actual, legit arguments for why they dislike Roman Reigns to this point. They don't hate him, and they're very much of the opinion that when these things change, that they'll come around and become a fan, probably. But I'm just
me in the New Day.
Yeah. All I'm going to say is this. Regardless, I don't care if you're the kind of person who's like that. or if you're a big time, like Roman Reigns is your Hulk Hogan, or if you despise him, like we're talking, like as much as people used to despise X-Pac at the height of despising X-Pac, it doesn't matter. Roman winning the title has been what most of the company's been building up to, and on top of that, given how they've worked his storylines and how everything else in the company's been for a couple of years now, it would be fucking different.
Yeah.
That's kind of, I guess on some level, that, and because with all the bullshit he's had to deal with, he does kind of deserve it. So I want the big Samoan badass, I want the Superman punch throwing man to finally get his goddamn title.
I wish I could agree with you.
No, dude,
I want to agree with you.
I totally expect you to be right. I'm like 110% going, yep, my dreams are going to get shattered again.
Yeah. So that's it for our TLC predictions.
So now we get to move on to the show that we actually are looking forward to.
NXT. The following predictions are for NXT Takeover London, and they are for the Central Wisconsin Wrestling Podcast Tag Team Championship. Okay, for those of you who don't know, we have a friend. His name is Nate the Great. He owns Pro Talk Wrestling on Spreaker.com. He has issued a challenge to the Squared Circle Podcast for NXT London.
And I take it this might be for perhaps not one, but maybe two.
Another title?
So what we're saying here is that regardless who wins the world title, it's going to be me, but regardless who wins the world title, we're going to have 3 belts.
Pretty much, yeah.
Well, of course, I mean, we're the best. we're the best, and we're so humble.
Yes.
Stay humble, stay hungry.
All right, so we'll start out with the 2 matches that are not title matches. First one's going to be Baron Corbin versus Apollo Crews.
Tough call.
That's a nice thing to say when it comes to
I know
a pay-per-view.
And the other best thing is I'm kind of okay with either guy. I will freely admit I would prefer Apollo Crews winning, but at the same time I'd be completely fine. Like, oh, but he's the heel. Yeah, and if I were there in attendance, I'd boo the hell out of Baron Corbin because he's really actually pretty good at his job at being a heel. I mean, don't get me wrong, when they were trying to make him essentially a quiet Goldberg-style babyface, it was, wasn't hot shit in a champagne glass. That was cold diarrhea in a Dixie cup. But when he's a heel, it works. What I think is going to happen, like what I'm going to throw my cards on the table with, is I think they're going to play it a little bit safe. I think Crews is going to win.
I'll agree with you. I think Apollo Crews is going to pick up the win over Baron Corbin.
Oh, yeah.
And that's based solely on the last few weeks of NXT.
Yeah.
That's not any personal opinion. That's
just how it seems.
That's how it seems. It's that Apollo Crews has gotten his ass kicked by Baron Corbin, and then last week, technically, 2 days ago, on NXT,
2 days now,
they just all out fisticuffs, just beating the crap out of each other.
That was 2 big motherfuckers who decided I've had enough of this other guy's crap. That was great. Yeah. But so at the very least, I think we can agree that there's probably really not going to be a bad match.
No, there will not.
I mean, there might be a couple matches that leave you go, that could have been better, but nothing just objectively terrible.
Right. So the next match, Emma versus Asuka.
Asuka.
Now remember, Dana Brooke is in Emma's corner.
Your winner by knockout. And the woman who's going to, not even woman, not even human being, the living embodiment of Japanese ass kicking that is about to commit a felony is Asuka. If they have Emma win, it will have to be by either act of God or it turns out Emma was secretly the Australian Wonder Woman. By the way, I think Asuka's going to win.
I'm sorry. It's just the way that you dead-on looked at me and said, your winner by knockout.
I wasn't even like, do I think that's how it's going to go down? Oh, hell no. That was just because, be like, okay, like, she gets hit by that woman and, like, she wins by pin or she makes her tap out with the Asuka lock. Okay. She, she didn't even look away. And it was literally, there are people who have used back body drops, like back in the 50s as a finisher. People who used a German suplex back in the 60s and shit as a finisher. Nobody has ever used like a heel kick as a finisher. And this woman just knocked another human being out. It's done. If Emma still has a head on her shoulders, it is only because the heel kick hit her in the chest, which should explain the basketball-sized dent.
I'll agree. Asuka will win.
Oh, God, yeah. I like Asuka a little bit, can we tell?
Just a little bit.
Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure at this point the only wrestlers currently that are part of WWE that I like more are, like, Sami Zayn and Daniel Bryan, and they're not there, so...
There you go. There's your little Asuka moment. Are we going to be hearing this after NXT Takeover London?
Oh, God.
Your winner by knockout.
Oh, God, if she actually won by knock, I would be over the moon.
All right, the next match, the NXT Women's Championship match. Bayley versus Nia Jax.
All seriousness, setting aside, you know, all the jokes, all the screaming, all of that, setting it all aside, I do honestly think that Bayley's going to retain the title. No joke, I honestly do think that Nia Jax is, like, a couple weeks ago, I would have said, yeah, she's a little green. That's the kind of thing you say about Roman Reigns, like, a month or so after WrestleMania. Nia Jax, I don't think is actually ready to be on NXT television. That might seem a bit extreme, but I'm not going to say outright, like, oh, she's terrible. She needs a lot more training. And I honestly do think that NXT sees that, and they're not going to put the belt on her. I also think that, you know how there's just some wrestlers that if you were to put a belt on them, they just feel like a transitional champion, like they're just holding the belt until the next person can get it? That's how I would see Nia Jax doing it. And honestly, this is, I guess, getting a little bit into personal opinion, like my own feelings on it. If you're going to take the belt off of Bayley, the woman who takes it from her cannot be a transitional champion. She's got to be on Bayley's level, heel or face.
Okay. Now, for the sole fact that you and I pretty much have to agree because this is for tag team titles,
Yeah.
I'll say Bayley will win. Now, let me follow it up with this argument.
All right, let's hear it.
I think if the storyline with Nia Jax were to unfold, I also think that would be a smart idea. For the sole reason, think about this.
Okay.
If you've now got Charlotte turning heel, you've got Paige as a heel, Naomi and Tamina are heels, Brie and Nikki heels, Alicia Fox heel.
Okay, aside from Bayley and Becky Lynch, are there any women in the company that aren't heels? I'm not even making a joke.
That's the point. I think, especially after TLC, I think, as much as I want to say, you know, I will agree with your definition of a pull-up to main roster status as a demotion.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think
it's also a promotion.
Yes, I also think it may be time to pull Bayley up. As much as I don't want to say it, I think I could see a storyline unfold where that could happen, where you have a fatal four-way with Charlotte, Becky Lynch, Sasha Banks, and Bayley for the Divas title.
I mean, don't get me wrong, that match would be beautiful.
Coming up in the next... I'm not saying at Royal Rumble. I'm saying... No. In the next few months. Bayley has to lose her title before she comes up. Guaranteed.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
I mean, Kevin Owens was still holding the NXT title when he was appearing on Raw at first, but he wasn't...
He wasn't actually on Raw. He's still...
Well, that's the thing. I actually got curious, and I actually went on Wikipedia, and, you know, if you go on Wikipedia, WWE roster, they do break it down. Like, hell, back when there was a brand split, they used to break it down by SmackDown, Raw, and ECW. Here, they break down, NXT personnel, Raw personnel, and all that. Back then, he was, even after his first match with Cena, was still listed as NXT personnel. So it's, I mean, like, and, Bayley could, make an appearance or two in Raw. I definitely see where you're coming from. I just, again, I think, and I'll divorce my own opinion from it. I honestly think that especially, I mean, WWE, mainstream or NXT, neither one of them is so stupid that they don't recognize when they've got hot fire going on.
It's true.
What I think they'll do is, and again, this is me still thinking that Bayley's going to retain. I think there's enough self-awareness there that if they realize that if you have someone who's just hot fire, who the crowd loves, like they do Bayley, like they do Daniel Bryan, like they do Sami Zayn, you have to make their losses seem big. Like, part of the reason people hated the last couple Royal Rumbles, oh yeah, Daniel Bryan lost. It wasn't just that he lost. It wasn't just that the Rumble itself was kind of boring and laborious. It was how people lost. It was how it was boring. If you have Nia Jax take the belt off of Bayley, I don't think that's going to be, I don't think from a storytelling perspective, I don't think from just in-ring ability standpoint, and I don't think from the standpoint of fan perception, critical perception, or what the writers probably want to do, I don't think that she's the right opponent. She definitely, you make a lot of sense. I definitely agree with you. I do think a main roster promotion is in her future, and I would love to see that Fatal 4-Way you were just describing, but I just don't think that it's going to be happening or even starting now. That's again,
we have to agree. I'll go with Bayley mainly because she's my girl.
Oh yeah,
and
I couldn't tell by your apparel. It's totally not an
full disclosure. I'm wearing an I'm a hugger shirt.
Even fuller disclosure, I want an I'm a hugger shirt at some point in my life.
Yes, so I'll take Bayley.
Okay.
Safe bet.
Yeah.
Bold move would be putting the belt on Nia Jax. But I don't think you need to make bold moves with NXT now that I think about it. NXT is a good place right now. It's in good places right now.
Although I will say this. If they did put the belt on Nia Jax, you'd have the easiest face turn ever. She just looks at the belt, looks at Eva Marie and goes, "Why do I need you again? I've got this." And I'm sorry, I don't care. Even from a wrestling, reality, combat sport, whatever. Look at Nia Jax and then look at Eva Marie. If those two fought, who do you think would Nia Jax? I mean,
who do you would Nia Jax?
It's pretty much so if she actually won the belt, they would basically have this opportunity for the easiest face turn ever. Be like, brr. You can just barely hear the promo. She basically does, the polite NXT version of "go fuck yourself" to Eva Marie. And it's like, boo, yeah! Yes! And it's just like, no one at that point in time would be like, dude, she's greener than a dope fiend's window box in springtime. Yeah, but she just pissed on Eva Marie. Who cares?
Yeah.
Fair point.
Yeah, there you go. All right, WWE NXT Tag Team title match. Dash and Dawson versus Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy.
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but what I want to have happen is the titles are retained. But what I think is going to happen is I do think it's going to be the culmination of the story. I do think this will finally be Enzo and Cass's big victory.
Yes.
But fortunately, I would be happy if what I want to have happen happens. It's going to sound weird. I actually think I'll be happier if what I don't want happens. I think the only reason I kind of want it is because part of me likes those longer stories where the heroes stumble a bit. So they lose again. Maybe this time it actually takes full-on heel shenanigans, maybe a ref bump or something. Okay, next takeover special, or even on a very, a really impactful episode of NXT, they, finally get their big win. But yeah, I'd definitely be happier getting what I don't want for a change. But I do think that Enzo and Cass win.
I agree. And that's just not because we have to agree. I think that Enzo and Cass will win the titles.
I think, again, I prefer the longer storyline, but the shorter one sometimes works. And I think especially after that, promo that they cut post-match, this is it. This is their time. The time has really come to pull that trigger. And yeah, they're a wacky comedy duo, and maybe a couple months ago, as much as I love them, I would have said, yeah, they're transitional champions. Now, no. These guys, you're looking at the next legit team, because Lucha Dragons, as much as I love them, the Vaudevillains, Dash and Dawson, the Skrillex Express, and Alexa Bliss, they've all been transitional. They really have been. I think Enzo and Cass, they're going to be the first ones in a while that are like, yeah, these guys, they're not the Ascension, but they're the next Ascension.
I agree. So this last match, the NXT Championship match, Balor versus Joe. Now, you and I have to discuss this because I have a feeling we're going to disagree on this one.
Let's hear yours first.
Okay. I think Samoa Joe will win.
Okay, so far we're actually in 100% agreement.
Really?
Yeah.
Now, what's your reasoning behind it?
Okay. The reason for this is, and I've heard some people say that, yeah, I think Joe's going to win. Why? Well, they should, either A, they should, or B, they will. call Balor up to the main roster. I don't think that's the reason. I think that what's going to happen is Joe wins, and, maybe he wins dirty, maybe he wins clean. Doesn't matter to me right now. What I think that they're going to want to do is Balor loses. He loses his title. Joe, in all of his arrogance and douchiness, and kind of, you could make comparisons to like Kevin Owens, he somehow squeaks it out. Balor decides that going the demon is not enough, and he starts pulling out some really crazy shit, like stuff that people who are fans of Fergal Devitt would recognize. I think maybe they want to have that big, you know what, we've got two of the hugest, most popular indie stars in the entire world history of wrestling. Let's actually go insane with that. I think that's what they want to do. So I personally do think that Joe's going to win, just so it sets up a bigger storyline, bigger moments, and a bigger match. That being said, if their reasoning was, yeah, we're going to call up Balor to the main roster, be one of the very few main roster call-ups from NXT that I would not only be not against, I would actively support. I'm dead serious, 110% down with Balor getting called up to the roster.
I think Finn Balor adds the Daniel Bryan aspect that we don't have right now. I think if everything falls through with Daniel Bryan, because I'm a little scared about him right now, because I've heard some stories about him saying that his career with WWE may be over, and that, WWE has asked him to be a trainer and not a wrestler. So that scares me. And I think if you call up Finn Balor, it adds the Daniel Bryan aspect to the company that's been lacking for the last 6 months or so.
Yeah, I mean, because Daniel Bryan his character, especially as a babyface, is an everyman. He's that guy that you can look up to and also kind of be. He's like Spider-Man in a way. He constantly deals with bullshit. He's constantly got people who are, bagging on him, always has obstacles, but he never, obviously, he had the heel turn with, the briefcase and all that, but he really, when he gets into a character, he's consistent. If he's a babyface, there's no moral complexity there. He's just a babyface. And Balor is very much the same way, but at the same time, he's not the relatable everyman. He's this relatable everyman who can turn into a goddamn demon. So you've got the Daniel Bryan factor in a completely different direction. So you can have him call up and you get your Daniel Bryan effect, but it's not the same thing. It's not necessarily better or worse. It's Daniel Bryan, but different, which is half the reason why I'm like, yes. That, and because, oh God, can you imagine the Demon Balor entrance at WrestleMania?
See, and I think
everyone has, but just, oh God.
I can see Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt at WrestleMania 32.
Oh my God, that's beautiful.
As much as that's just my fanboy.
Oh hell, at this point,
inner 7-year-old,
Hell, I could honestly, I can't believe I'm gonna say this. I would pay out the nose to see like Balor versus Cena.
Oh, that would be fantastic. That could be a very good. That could be a very good U.S. Open challenge, because remember, John Cena's coming back in about a week.
No, and hell, think about this. Both of them fully rested up. Cena's been out. Let's say he doesn't take his vacation time as like, yeah, I think I'm going to kind of relax, rest on my laurels. No, he comes back and is like, God damn, I miss doing this. And he's fired up, and he's doing that. He's just throwing himself around in the ring, just throwing himself completely into it. And then you bring fucking Finn Balor into that. I don't care what promotion you're in. There's your match of the year.
Could you
Cena
imagine
versus Balor?
Could you imagine a coup de grace on Cena?
I can imagine. Oh, I'm at. God, that's a beautiful match. It's like, coup de grace. Oh, well, I mean, Cena. He's going to kick out 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
I think my heart exploded from how happy I just became.
I'll be one of those fanboys that say Joe will win just to pull up Finn Balor.
Yeah.
I think that, especially with Rollins, Orton, too, before we go, did you hear the story about Randy Orton?
Is the story that he's going to get better and come back sooner?
Sure.
It's not that
in 2017.
What?
There are news reports.
2017.
Hang on, let me pull it up. There have been news reports on Randy Orton.
It's not even 2016.
No. Randy Orton needs neck surgery now too. He was talking on Ric Flair's podcast, and he says that he now needs neck surgery. So he has to get the shoulder surgery first, heal up from that, and then get the neck injury surgery and heal up from that.
Oh my God! I
think Finn Balor pulling up is a bad idea right now?
Finn Balor pull up. I'm totally behind that. Like I said, I think it's a good idea. It's just now it's gone from, well, it'd be a good idea. Maybe we could do it too. I think we need to do this, guys. It's like, oh hey, Cena's coming back. Oh, that's pretty good. And wow, my brain. Sami Zayn's coming back. That's cool. What about literally everyone else who's injured? Actually, Orton's gonna have to be out even longer.
Yeah.
Fuck my life.
That's where we're at right now. Seth Rollins is out.
No, watch this. Watch this. Cena comes back and wrecks his back or something in this first.
You might as well cancel WWE Raw.
No, he won't be his career's over. It's like he doesn't even need to have surgery, but he'll be out for another 4 months. At that point, it's just well, it won't even matter. I'm pretty sure Raw will just get canceled.
1.1 ratings. Yeah.
Then you got even the most die-hard Cena hater just come back, John, please.
Yep. So those are our NXT Takeover London predictions. Nate the Great, we're coming after your title, man.
Keep it warm for us, buddy.
Keep that thing warm. We are coming to get it. Oh, I can't believe you just did that.
I have done it before.
All right, that is going to do it for it's going to do it for the Squared Circle podcast. Oh, boy. It is midnight where we are, and it's time to go home.
Maybe a little bit.
That's going to do it for the Squared Circle here on Spreaker.com and iTunes. We will be back next week where yours truly will still be champion. I'll be a year older. It's my birthday next week, Wednesday.
Oh, nice.
On NXT Takeover London Day. Happy birthday to me.
I have never had a wrestling show on my birthday. You lucky bitch.
All right, everybody. We will see you guys in about a week. Enjoy Tables, Ladders, and Chairs and NXT Takeover London. Have a good week, everybody.